everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in my last video I drew these wonderful Copic artworks of pumpkin heads, and now I'm going to be carving a pumpkin head. I have been wanting to do this for so long, and I've never actually carved a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern before because it's not overly common in Australia. Halloween isn't traditionally celebrated here, but it is picking up popularity, so I really wanted to try it out because the last few years I have missed out and I planned to do it and then I never did it because ADHD. But today we are doing it and I am so excited. So I got this large pumpkin here, and it's actually a Halloween one. I got it from my local Woolworths, and we've seen some really ugly like warty looking ones too, and I was very tempted to get those because they just look so weird and gross and awesome. But I decided on this one because I just felt like my first ever pumpkin carving, it's probably going to be a little bit easier. So of course I'm starting off with a light sketch because that's just my style when I make art, and now it's time to start stabbing this. Now, I definitely did not have the proper materials to carve this pumpkin. There's actually not a whole lot of knives at my house, and also I couldn't find pumpkin carving tools or anything in store at the shops at my place, just because, you know, it's not as common here. Even though they were selling the pumpkins, I didn't see the pumpkin carving kit. Maybe I was just blind and didn't notice it. So I've seen a few people do this, but I haven't actually looked up a proper tutorial or anything. I probably should have, honestly, but I just kind of wanted to dive in and see what it was like, you know, first impressions type thing. And one thing I was really surprised about was the weird texture on the inside. And I'm not talking about the stringy parts with the seeds on them. I'm talking about the almost spaghetti-like texture on like the inner part of the pumpkin. I was prepared for like the slimy stringy parts with seeds in them, but we have almost like a noodly texture in there too. It's like two different parts of the pumpkin. Now, looking at this lovely little hole in the pumpkin here, you can see some weird looks in there, and I had the fantastic idea to put my phone inside and just film inside of it because I wanted to see what it looked like on the inside. And honestly, I thought it was so cool and gross and weird and fun as well, because I've never really experienced this before. I've obviously cut up pumpkin when eating it, but I believe that's a different kind of pumpkin. This isn't really an eating pumpkin, this is a carving pumpkin, and apparently there's a difference. Of course, all pumpkins are edible, but this isn't the usual kind I see in the store when I'm buying food. But look at those weird textures and how the seeds are just sort of like hanging in there. It's almost like spiderweb like. It's so creepy but so awesome. So let's now scoop out these innards and all of these seeds and you know, I guess prepare it for carving. I knew it was going to be pretty messy, but it was very interesting experience trying to pull out all of these seeds from inside the pumpkin, and I was honestly really surprised with how many were in there. There was quite a lot, and every time I felt like I was getting most of it, like more would appear. I don't know how, but they were hiding in there, and yeah, there's just so many. I just had to like put my arms like deep into this pumpkin and just like scoop out the innards, you know, Halloween style. But you know, this is what I signed up for. I wanted the full experience for my first go, so I just did it. And honestly, like thinking back on it now, I probably should have used like a spoon to like scrape the insides, but somehow I just didn't think of it at the time, so I was just like pulling chunks out and like trying to cut the strings a little bit with a knife, and I managed in the end. So now it's time to start carving the face, and typical me fashion, I decided to go with the most intricate part first, and that was the mouth that I drew with all of the teeth in there. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. It was mostly straight lines, so I kind of like found that a little bit convenient because I could just, you know, stick this knife in and, you know, carve out some triangles and that would be the teeth. Honestly though, it was kind of fun just like stabbing this vegetable or fruit or whatever it is. I believe it's a fruit, but it was just fun just like sort of hacking away at it. And look, here's more of that noodle texture. As you can see, when I peeled back that part there, I was just a little bit surprised seeing, like, I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like raw French fries, like the really thin shoestring ones. And well, I guess it is kind of strips of, you know, food, but it was very, very odd because I expected to pull back this like shape and then just see the inside of the pumpkin, but then I was presented with like spaghetti texture. Very odd. I'm thinking maybe I didn't like cut it fully, or maybe I didn't like scoop out the innards enough, and maybe I was supposed to remove that part. I don't know. I haven't done this before, and I haven't seen anyone like in real life doing it either, so you know, first go, I guess. We're gonna come across some surprises here and there when trying new things, and honestly it kind of looks very weird having like noodles in there, and then I sort of just like pushed at them in between the teeth with my fingers to try and just loosen it all, and then like once I got that loosened up a bit, I decided to just like scoop it out, and there was so much more of it than I was expecting. As you can see, you can like see like me pulling out handfuls of it, and I guess like carving into the pumpkin released those. But honestly, I kind of like the gross raw look of like the strips inside. It kind of gives it like a weird, like a, I don't know, like a gruely, spooky look to it, and I guess that's what you want with a pumpkin. Honestly, I think it's gonna look pretty cool when I light up the inside though. Maybe we're gonna see those textures like shine. I don't know, but let's just see. So now I'm just carving out the eye here, and I did mess up a little bit, but honestly I don't mind because it turned out well in the end. I wanted to do a sort of like an intricate shape where there was a pupil, but it was kind of hard for me because I really didn't want to stab my hand, but I had to sort of support the inside because it was a little bit bendy, as you can see, and I was super scared of like cutting myself, so I didn't like support it, and then it kind of just like the eye fell out. So that was unfortunate, but I ended up fixing it in the end with I'll show you that later, but it turned out good, so I wasn't too stressed about that. And then I carved in the other eye, and it was kind of hard to get them perfect and symmetrical, but honestly I like that because you know, it just adds to the spooky vibe if it's got a weird look to it. That's my excuse anyways. Honestly, I didn't mind at all. And the same thing with the eyebrows too. They were definitely not even, but you know, maybe eyebrows are like sisters, not twins. Is that the phrase? They're like sisters or something, so they're not gonna look exactly the same. I don't know the phrase, but if you know it, comment it below. But that was my whole idea on you know, the eyebrows. But yeah, now my way of fixing the eyes, I decided on carving out some of the pumpkin here, and then just sort of sticking the eyes, the pupils in where the eye sockets are, and using some sewing pins to secure them in place. Now I probably would have used like a toothpick or like a skewer if I wanted something longer, but I did not have those available to me at the time, so I had to make use with what I had, and I had sewing pins, so I just did that, and I tried to put them in like a place where you couldn't see the little like bubble head thing of the sewing pin. And honestly though, the end results look pretty cool, and you can't really notice them anyways, so I'm very happy with the results. So here's the final carved pumpkin, and honestly I think the face just looks really cool. He looks really spooky with his exaggerated mouth, and this is the only candle I had available at the time, and I picked it because it was yellow, and I had a few others but they were like blue, but I felt like the yellow would suit the best, and honestly it just looks so cool with the candle in there and the face glowing and the dark room. I honestly love this, and I was so glad that I did it too because it just turned out so fun and cool looking. anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and this was the first time I've ever carved a pumpkin, so that was pretty cool. It was definitely harder than I expected, but I do love the results, and I recommend it for anyone else that was thinking about trying it and they haven't yet. So let me know in the comments below if you have tried this out. I reckon a lot of you have, because Halloween is like pretty popular in America and other places in the world that aren't Australia. So it's probably a pretty common thing. Hope you're staying safe out there, and I hope you have a lovely day and an awesome Halloween, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.